Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, Guile here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. A Saturday afternoon special can only mean one thing, and that's that my schedule is still shot to 7 shades of poo. Still no baby yet, never mind, we'll see what happens next week. I've got no bits of news or information to bring you at the beginning of this one, so I can choose to spend the time any way I like, and I choose to spend that time promoting FAF. So I want to say hello and welcome to my newest subscribers. Thank you very much for joining us. Great to have you on board. And if you like what you're looking at, guys, but you're not 100% sure what it is you are looking at, the game is Supreme Commander Forged Alliance, not, I repeat, not Supreme Commander 2. It's available on Steam for £10 or 15 US dollars, and whatever the equivalent is in your local currency. And all you need to do to come play with us here at FAF, it doesn't matter if you have a retail copy or the download edition from Steam, is once you have the game installed, then you download the Forged Alliance Forever multiplayer client. You can find a link to that in the description and below this video. What will that allow me to do, Guile, I hear you say, once I have that installed? Well, it's quite simple. It'll allow you to come chat with us, play with us, browse our mod vaults, our replay vaults, our map vaults, compete in tournaments, watch live streams, flay people on the forums, all of that. And the best part of that is, after the initial outlay for the game, it's all completely free of charge. It really is a phenomenal amount of entertainment for what is a very modest outlay. And if it is still too much for you guys, I've been told to remind you that if you keep your eye on eBay or Amazon, you can pick up retail copies for much cheaper than that. And every now and again it comes on Humble Bundle as well for only $1. So it really is a fantastic deal if you can grab one of those. Anyway, enough of that. We can get on with today's game now. It's going to be another custom 4v4, so there's a bit of a theme this week, and it's going to go down on Wonder 4v4 version 3b. How terribly exotic. So let's go on over to the game zone and see how these guys are going to get on. So we'll call this Team 1 up here at the top, and this Team 2 down here at the bottom. Going first for Team 1, rearguard air position in Regal Purple. It's none other than Bloodir. He's chosen Aeon, how very sensible, and he's opening first land. To his right over here in top right hand corner, it's none other than my good friend GFY's Depony. He's going Seraphim in Elephantine Grey and opening first land. Down here to the middle, we have Admiral Adama. He clearly is a man of refined taste with the Battlestar Galactica reference, and also, of course, choosing UEF. Well done in baby blue there, opening first land. And last but not least for Team 1 down here, it's GG Goyle. GG, so my good friend Vexy. He's going baby pink. Cybran opening first land, and then going land all day with 4 more of them queued up around that Eastern Core mechs there for the adjacency bonus. Let's take a look at Team 2 now. Rearguard air position down here at the bottom is Aleg Nagy Obikiraj, or Aleg as I should be calling him for the duration of the cast. And he's going Aeon, very sensible, in Ferrari red, opening first land. And then above him, up here, going Cybran, we have Zero in Cyanide Scion, opening first land. Team member number 3 for Team 2 as we move to the middle. It's Gem just have. I swear to God, there is some kind of conspiracy against casters here with the naming convention going on at FAF. Everybody is trying to be difficult. But anyway, we'll be calling him Gem for the duration of this one. He's going Cybran in Spetsnaz green, opening first land, going second air there. And then down at the bottom, we have Heaven, a word I can read, phenomenal. He's going UEF, opening first land and going second land there as well. So those are the teams and the players. And I've got to say, at first glance, it looks like it's stacked in favour of Team 1. I would expect them to walk away with this one. GFY Depony, of course, we've spoken about it before. He's on 1400, but he plays a lot of questionable games against people where the teams aren't really very fair, so he loses more games than he should. So he should really be at least a 1600 or more, in my opinion. But there he is, 1400. But the real difference maker, I think, will be Bloodir at the back here, 2300. Seen a lot of him, very well seasoned vet here at FAF. And his mirror, Team 2's rearguard air position down here is Aleg, and he's only on 1600. So we'll see how that pans out. Rating isn't everything, of course, but that is a huge mismatch. So advantage is with Team 1 on the rating side of things, I would expect. Anyway, the initial game gets kicked off here in the center. A few Mantis here getting into an argument with a couple of FAMs there from Depony and Micro from both sides, but it seems to have gone a little bit better there for Depony. Is he going to hold on to that FAM? Managed to kill that Mantis? Yes, he is. 24 hit points to spare easy, he says, no problem. And what is interesting, actually, is that not a single ACU has made their way to the middle for Team 2, whereas both Adama and Deponi are busying themselves in the center of the mass, hoovering up that reclaim. And if you take a look there, of course, a lot of reclaim to be had here on Wonder. All those rocks in the center, in those craters, that will certainly go a long way to filling up the coffers for Team 1. We'll have a look at the reclaim once all of that is gone to see what kind of a difference that has made, but certainly will be helpful, I would imagine. Anyway, a bomber out from Aleg seems to be heading over to Vexy's side of the map. Incidentally, if I stop every now and again or I cough and splutter, I apologize. Got a bit of a cold coming on, I believe. The first bomb away from that T1 bomber there from Aleg picks up a radar and a engineer, so paying for itself so far. Another one coming in, and that picks up 2 more NGs, so Vexy being hampered a little bit. We have got a few planes on the field for Blodir, mostly scout planes, but we do have one Inceptor, but he's not rushing over to Vexy's aid, and it doesn't look like Vexy's busying himself by producing any Sky Slammers either, so this could potentially go on for a while. We've now got 5 kills on that T1 bomber. Finally, that Inceptor is sent to alleviate the pressure there from Blodir. Will he get another one in? It's going to be close. Yes, he will, unless that engineer is moved. No, he is not. Down he goes. Finally, that Inti locks onto that T1 bomber, but with 6 kills, 5 engineers, and a radar. That's certainly paying for itself there from Alex, so well done there. Deponi and Sheer, I was about to say Sheer though, it's not Zero, facing off against each other, mano in mano, and Deponi cancelling the construction, basically, of a PD there, killing the engineer that was working off it. Nice work, but Zero is going to busy himself by finishing that off with his ACU. Deponi taking his chance to get a few extra shots in on the ACU there. Is going to back out of range, and that auto gun will be allowed to complete. Nice work there from both players. A little bit of a counter push there from Gem in the center, getting up, killing off some of the reinforcements that seems to be coming to Pony's way. Vexy now branching out potentially with some Mantis over in the west. Couple of solo strikers coming up the center there from Heaven, looking for engineers, but we get massively outnumbered and squashed by that horde of Mantis. Vexy now bringing his ACU towards the middle. What's Heaven doing? Well, Heaven's still very much entrenched in his base. Where on earth is Gem? Has he broken out to the center? Actually can't see where he's gone. There he is. He's in the center. Got an upgrade on the comm. Static for the moment. That was paused, but it's now, well, going on and off. So having a few eco issues, I would suggest. Probably trying to get a couple more T2 mexes online. Maybe perhaps did that a tad early before he was ready. Have got T2 operational on the ground in the east there for Zero, but Zero has moved to the middle, so he's going to start hoovering up some mass. But you see how bare those craters are looking now. A lot of those rocks have already been picked up. Still a fair few left down here in this one though. No ACUs making their way over there. Meanwhile though, Gem has to relocate his force to the southwest. Vexy causing problems for Heaven, but the extra reinforcements will persuade a little bit of a backtrack there from Team 1. And everybody pretty much hitting T2 nice and early here. One T2 land factory now online. T2 engineers out there for Heaven. T2 online there for Gem as well. And of course T2 air at the back. So everyone kind of hitting T2 at the same pace there for Team 2. They don't seem to have an upgrade as yet for Vexy. How that compares with that. In fact, Team 1 very much looking to be a bit more aggressive on the ground. Deponi has gone for T2, already has an Ilsheva about to pop out of that HQ as we speak, and of course Blodir, the air player, as you would expect, has T2 air online. But Gem now nearly there with his upgrade. And look at the wall section queued up there from Heaven. That is, that's allowed to complete. That is going to look very much like a bit of a Great Wall of China there. And look at that pro camera work, catches a skyhook, if I can actually stay on it, with what looks like Mantis on board, coming in around the bottom of the map. We'll keep an eye on that, see where that's coming into land. Hold the shift key there. Well, it's coming in the back, and that could threaten what looks to be about 3 or 4 mexes potentially. We don't have any other offensive units down there. A lot of build capacity sitting around, but Vexy likely to do a little bit of damage there, which is good because he's facing stiff resistance up front. Heaven with his ACU, but now also with the odd T2 unit there, a few Mongoose out there. Massive ranged advantage against that horde of Mantis, and of course one Medusa in the mix here as well, so he doesn't even have to get the Mantis involved. He can pick off those mexes at range. But certainly he's busy up front, but that's nice work. And we'll just take a moment here, maybe slow it down a tad so we don't miss anything. Top players on Eco, Blodir and Aleg, the air players as you would expect. And then we come down a notch, we're seeing CO and Vexy doing reasonably well. And then everybody else is in the 30s. But if we take a look at Reclaim, see how those initial ACU moves to the center affected things. So Deponi on 4,500, Adama on just under 3,000, 2,900 there, and Vexy on 3,700, Gem on 4,100, Zero on 4,100, and Heaven on 4,700. So actually, they've managed to pick up more than Team 1 have. Team 2, despite allowing the initial part of the game to go past with no reclaim at all. So very nice work from them, and I'd say they were ahead in development as well. We've got commander upgrades in place, we have tech on the ground, so Team 2 actually looking pretty good up front. Vexy getting a lot of assistance from all of those Mantis, and look at them all clogged up there. That would have been a lovely opportunity for some volleys from the Mongoose there. In come those rockets, nice AoE, and that is actually going to cause a few problems there, but Vexy's ACU did finish the upgrade there, and you can see that was a gun upgrade, rate of fire increasing dramatically. Gem going to back up a little bit with his comm, so I think this is a upgrade on both commanders here, both gun upgrades. See the rate of fire very similar there, but Gem with superior numbers and with the T2 advantage as well from Heaven. Vexy could find his position here untenable. He's down to below 6,000 hit points there. Admiral Adama bringing in what he can. He's got about 7 or so strikers in the area. Heaven going to get an upgrade as well, but I think they could probably afford to push this land factory a little bit. Vexy cannot stick around. He is well and truly beaten up. ACU deep into the yellow there. But they decide not to push that little advantage, at least not for the moment. Meanwhile, up here at the east, Deponi getting an upgrade on his comm. Same goes for Zero. And we already have some T2 PDs in place there for Zero, with the odd Viper kicking around as well. So lots of ranged pain there for Deponi, who's sitting pretty much just on the odd Ilshiva. Has got a T2 missile launcher, mobile missile launcher coming to the front as well. In fact, another one just rolling off the pad there further back as well. But Blodir running away with things on the eco side of things, as we expected he would. 110. Compare that to his mirror at the bottom, Aleg on 85. And Reclaim is ahead by about 2k as well. So air position looking good so far for Team 1, which is good because the initial exchanges seem to be giving up a little bit of progress on the ground to Team 2. So all in all though, pretty even game so far in the first 11 minutes of this one. Is that the same upgrade? He still hasn't completed that. I'm wondering if he's having some eco problems. Well, power seems to be good, so it could potentially be another one. We'll take a look at his setup once that one completes. Meanwhile, check out these pillars getting hammered on from Vexy's ACU. Does Vexy actually have overcharge? Yes, he does, and he has power storage to spare. 1,400 power there, so we'll fire a couple of overcharges in quick succession. That land factory finally goes down, and now we're seeing a little bit of a Maginot line being erected, or at least a T1 Maginot line there from Vexy. Wants to establish a perimeter. Of course, the problem is Mongoose can cause issues for T1 PDs. Their range very much greater than the static T1 defenses. forward Cerberus turret getting picked apart there by some mobile missile launchers. Zero's going to set back a zapper a little bit further back before he tries to move his defenses any further forward. Hasn't got a lot on the ground though, it has to be said. It's all very static, not a great deal of unit-based firepower, but he is up to T3 and is busy producing loyalists as we speak. So that could be the first ground-based T3 we see emerge into this game. Meanwhile, Vladimir asserting his authority over Aleg has Swift Winds and Coronas, the Aeon ASFs, hovering over Team 2's central base sections, and now coming in with a strap bomber as well, immediately going after that forward T2 mechs there, picks it off in one pass, as of course they will. We have got a couple of Swift Winds in tow, but that's a very nice bomb from that. It doesn't manage to stay alive any longer to pick off anything else, but that must have been about 4 or 5 engineers, mechs, associated mass storage. Always painful to see something like that go up when it's happening to you, but Aleg is quick to recover, gets build capacity in there to grab control of that mechs once again. Another strap bomber coming in from Vladimir. Picks off a T2 mechs from the section of core mechs there for Zero. And this is where we really need some ASF on the field there for Aleg, and he turns up in the nick of time. 3 of them coming in, won't save that one though. Quick stop command. Gives it a little bit of a hover, keeps it alive for a second, but again, no extra bomb coming out from that one. And it could possibly seem like they're starting to assert some control over their own airspace now, Team 2. Vladimir still coming in with more ASFs, but with Aleg growing in force over here and all of the T1s and the odd T2 anti-air, it's becoming a little bit tricky for those purple ASFs. And now we're starting to see T2 gunships being produced. So no more strap bombers on the way. That little window you get when you get the first strap bomber out to do some real damage has passed. Heaven still deeply embroiled in very physical disagreement there with Vexy, but those Mongoose giving him lots of breathing room. Has got one triad down here and immediately starts work on another. Get as many up of those as you can. Zero still under mobile missile fire, and in quite substantial quantities as well. Depony with an upgrade on his comeback here, still raining down missile fire on Zero. He has got zappers in place, and he's starting to get a few loyalists up here as well, which will be able to fling those missiles back, of course. Always amazed me that the loyalists have that ability, and yet no one managed to put that ability on a turret. Not that that would be balanced, of course, but just talking about from a roleplay perspective, would you put that on all your units if you could? Certainly on your static structures. Nice on your ACU. Wouldn't that make it dull? No more tac snipes. And Heaven inching forward there, swatting down a forward T2 unit there with his overcharge. 15.5 minutes gone and very little movement so far in this one. Gem and Adama both keeping back from the front line and just supporting the wings, really. It's sometimes a feature of this version of Wonder with those craters in the middle where they are. It does cut down movement in the center. Loyalist causing problems there for the odd Tham. Still the engagement rages over here between Vexy and Heaven, and a little bit of a PD creep back here from Adama as well, sensing a little bit of difficulties if this turns into a base war. Advantage will be with Heaven, of course. Natural UEF advantage when it comes to point defense, shield and artillery, that kind of thing. But that rogue loyalist now heading into Adama's territory. And Adama does have a few mongoose here. He's going to want to be dispatching that soon. Doesn't want to lose one of his T2 mexes here, which he might well do if he's not quick about it. This is where Bloodir wants to be sending in some of those Spectres we saw earlier. I can't actually see them now. I'm wondering if we've missed a little bit of a push there from gunships. Maybe he just produced the odd one. Tactical missile launcher over here in the far corner. One missile in the silo, another one on the way. But he's going to struggle to get past the TMD if that's what he's planning, trying to go for Deponi's mexes. And that's a lot of Vipers sitting in front, quite a lot of Cerberus turrets. It's a tough combination. You always want to jump forward and eliminate those mobile missile launchers, but if they're sitting in front of T2 PD, that is a tough call. Heaven trying to get some more shield coverage up to keep that T2 P-Gen alive. He's only producing 2.3k power, so he definitely doesn't want to lose that P-Gen and lose the 500 power it's putting out. Shield goes online, just about covering it, I think. Completely missed the space bar there. Apologies for the poor camera work. This position looking more and more uncomfortable for Heaven as the game progresses, and he's still deciding to throw up T2 P-Gens on the front line. It's easy, of course, because that's where his build capacity is. It's on his commander, I would say, if he's got the T2 engineering suite. Yes, he does. But down goes the shield gen. He's going to lose that forward T2 P-Gen, and now might very well lose the latest one he's just about to complete. Build capacity going to suffer first of all. Fortunately, little or no splash damage on the mobile missile launchers. Certainly would be OP, but look how far Heaven got with that mountain range wall. It's quite something out. You can scale parts of this mountain range, of course, so that's why they do it. You don't want units coming in around here and getting in behind your base. I'm not exactly sure which bits are passable and which aren't, but certainly prudent to wall it off if you've got the time to do it. We've got trebuchets now on the front line for 0. Most of that T3 mobile artillery fire impacting on those 2 shield gens that Deponi's commander's under, and also it's covering a lot of those units. But ever so slowly, Vexy seems to be creeping forward. Heaven getting another upgrade on his commander. Could this be T3, I wonder? Might be concerned about dealing with these mobile missile launchers. Get some Ravagers in play, and he can outrange them. A couple of trebuchets turn up from Gem. They will be very welcome indeed. Mobile missile launchers do not fare well against mobile artillery fire. Just about any artillery fire for that matter. Heaven completes and immediately starts work on a Ravager. And then also brings in a platoon of pillars as well, which is going to force a formational correction there from Vexy. can't believe how static this game is. These lines have hardly moved. We're 20 minutes in. We've got all our players still intact. Love this little drop down here. Few eruptors thrown together from Aleg. The build capacity that was there has been eliminated, but it cost him a couple of mexes there, Vexy. And now we've got some Ravager firepower at the back. Vexy is going to have to back up. He does not have anything that's going to be able to deal with that. But we'll take a look at general air power, and by the looks of things, just on the face of it, Blood Air significantly ahead. 62 ASFs there for Team 1's air player, and that compares to the 23 from Team 2. So as expected, Aleg falling behind in the race with his mirror. No surprises there. 2300 versus a 1600. It was always going to happen. And eco-wise, Blood Air ahead as well. 244 to 226. Coming up second is Gem, though, in the center, 175. And that's pretty significant when you look at everybody else's score. And the next person behind that is Depony on 134. Ciro's on 118. And Heaven on 66. And Adama and Vexy well behind on 86 and 77. So actually speaking, there's been a lot of harassment down here from Vexy. He really has been focusing on pushing, and as a result his eco has suffered somewhat. Hasn't been able to inflict any major damage, and I could see a little bit of a counter push on the cards now from Team 2. Both Gem and Heaven working this left corner here. He has got support from Adama. These are all triads, although they're under pretty sustained T3 mobile fire right now. And this is what I was talking about here. You can see these Zuis belonging to Ciro causing problems for Depony there. Ilshiva's having problems targeting them. You really can. The pathway is unsure, but you can get around it and get into your opponent's base, so you can't let these decals or whatever they are on the ground here fool you. They do not represent impassable terrain. But strap bombers coming in from Blood Air. That will be a very welcome sight for Vexy, or it will be if they decide to drop any of their ordnance anytime soon. It's like, only kidding guys, we're going home. Plane coming in there from Gem was presumably on an intercept course, but Blood Air denies that. We have a Monkey Lord under construction in the center for Gem. It's on 15,000 HP of 45,000 and counting. And a couple of demolishers in the center from Adama, who is starting to shift a little bit of his support over to Depony's side. And that might not actually be a bad call if he and Depony can break Ciro and collapse this flank. Then he's able to shift back towards Vexy if there's any danger of him collapsing anytime soon. The advance is going to be reasonably slow from Heaven, who seems to be relying on PD creep rather than units for the moment. But of course, that if they can manage to breach Ciro, no certainty there at all. No great commitment on the ground game from Depony so far, until we spot Methota, of course. There we go, 25,000 HP on the clock out of 67. That should be ready reasonably shortly. Hasn't got a great deal of build capacity in the area. That's being built solely with the commander, it would seem. But a Monkey Lord underway now from Vexy as well. That's pretty good timing. Could well need that soon. Certainly will have some pressure, I would imagine, from Gem. It's difficult to decide which way you'd send that. I'd probably send that off towards Vexy It's the easiest nut to crack at the moment in terms of defenses. Yes, we've got these triads, but if we could pressure those with some of the T3 mobile fire, of course also deny that Monkey Lord, whether or not Team 2 have actually seen that yet. But the bricks are on their way in now. Forward shield collapses. Trebuchets up front, which is very unfortunate. They're going to get caught up in this. But that's a lot of damage on the ground there from Gem. A lot of T3 bots. And they're surviving pretty well. Vexy has his commander on the front line. He's backing up. Very wise move indeed. The last of the shield gens about to go down, and yeah, man, that's not good. Vexy's exclaiming in team chat, Jesus, dude. Yeah, that doesn't look good at all. Front line gone. 15,000 hit points of a Monkey Lord completed, and that won't be finished off. We do have strats coming in to assist. That will deal with one of the bricks and damage several others. But Vexy could be about to lose his entire base here. Depends how efficient Bloodair is with his air attacks. And of course, in its wake, we have more PD creep coming in from heaven as well. He stops for a moment to build an air clean, a little bit of flak. Fortunately, Vexy is producing bricks out of the T3 factories, which is absorbing a little bit of the fire from Gem's brick. So actually we might not see as much damage in this push as we could have, or at least as I thought we were going to. But the power grid under threat. Vexy will not want to lose that. Another pass from the strat bombers there from Bloodair. Oh, you don't want to be changing up and going after the flak. You want to kill that power. Down goes one, down goes two, and down goes three, and Vexy will now be short a bob or two on power, producing just 782. That's not a great deal. So Vexy was certainly harmed in the making of this picture. And now more problems for Team 1 as that Monkey Lord has been completed. And interestingly enough, Gem, that was Gem's one, has donated that over to Zero, but Zero not deciding to push his own flank directly, and I think that is a wise decision. They've got a gaping hole in their defenses now, Team 1. But what? Nuke online and launch there from Bloodair. Where's it going? Well, you go after the air player, but another one in tandem, almost simultaneously, from Aleg. So you can see the nuke ping going out. Is that repaying the favor over to Bloodair? Yes, it is. So, and I don't see the nuke defense immediately. So if these both land, it'll be both air players completely crippled for the short term. The question is, will any ACUs get caught up in the explosions? You can see down here it's going to be really close. I think Bloodair is safe. Aleg just about outside of the blast radius. There he goes. Bloodair. Oh my goodness me. So both air bases, well, virtually eradicated. Core mechs pretty much intact. So mass shouldn't be a problem there for Bloodair. I think potentially Aleg got stung a little harder. I don't know. He's actually ahead on mass until that corrects. So he is ahead on mass. So that really does change things up dramatically. Bloodair, are you being power capped? No, you're not at the moment. But interestingly, both of those nuke launchers going up in the exchange. So there won't be any secondary missile from those two players as yet. So, and that's actually more of a problem for Team 1. Bloodair and Aleg now pretty much normalized in terms of impact on the game. Yes, Bloodair has more firepower in the skies at the moment, but he was way ahead on eco, he was ahead on development and ahead in the air, and taking that out, taking that base away from him, despite Aleg losing his as well, that's actually a huge boost to Team 2. Zero absorbing a lot of Ravager fire from back here. What he needs to be doing is ignoring that and trying to get in the back here, get out of range of those Ravagers if he can. Vexy's been trying to complete another Monkey Lord back here, and is now facing off against Zero's Spider. Takes the microwave laser to the face. Vexy presumably was trying to come into overcharge there, but that is playing with fire, young man. Did he even have overcharge? Yeah, he has. He's got plenty of storage, so that would have been the game plan. Get in, fire, and overcharge. But still absorbed quite a lot of that microwave laser radiation. Gutsy play. Always fear for ACUs when they stare down an experimental like that. You can see the Pony was bringing in an Ethota to try and help out. Didn't quite make it there in time. Spiderbot died before he got there, but another Monkey Lord online. Don't know whether that was built by Zero or donated once again from Gem, but we've also got a crab under construction down here as well. Let's take a quick look at general mass totals while we're in a bit of a lull here. 287 for Blodir, still in the lead, but only just. 285 now for Aleg. Gem on 258. I tell a lie, Depony's actually in third place there. 282 for Depony, only just behind the air players. So he's been ecoing pretty damn hard up here at the top right, which doesn't surprise me. As I said, he's much more competent than his 1400 rating belies, and he hasn't been pushing too hard. Yes, we've got an experimental on the front line now, but he hasn't been throwing an awful lot down at Zero here. It's all been standoff stuff. So eco and ecoing hard is not a great surprise. A lot of scout planes massing here, swallowing a bit of T3 mobile artillery fire. Is that T3 or static T2? Oh, we've got trebuchets down there. No, that's the static T2, the clink hammer, if you will. Superb naming convention there, as always. But now we see that Ethota bearing down on Zero's position, and his ACU actually under this portion of shield coverage. That forward basic shield goes down. Monkey Lord was sitting in the secondary coverage, but that has now gone down. And look at that, Anathema coming in, absorbing some of that microwave firepower, and that will be the end of the Monkey Lord. And the Ethota still alive with 19,000 hit points, and free and able to push on. Zero now without any shield coverage at all. Build capacity hurriedly trying to construct some Cerberus turrets, and then control K to deny veterancy. Wise decision, but he will thank Gem a million for the megalith coming in from the southwest into the red now. Really doesn't want Depony to get some lucky veterancy here, and fortunately doesn't. Megalith absorbs one final death ball of plasma, but the wreck, or the manifold, sorry, still online. Still in place, still able to be worked on. Meanwhile, another Monkey Lord, this time coming in from Vexy, but he's staring down a significant quantity of Ravager fire, and I think this might just result in a nice little mass gift for Heaven, who has a personal shield on his ACU now. Doesn't want to be standing next to that T3P gem, but you might as well walk up there and overcharge it. Come on. Vexy showed you how it was done. Down goes the Monkey Lord. Did lose a T3 power plant and a couple of Ravagers, but the Clink Hammer is still online, and ultimately that's what's important in life, is that the Clink Hammer survives. But I like what Depony did over here. He split off with a group of Ilshivers, their speed, of course, allowing them to break off, and now it looks like he's going to be able to grab at least a couple of these T2 mexes up top. In fact, that's a T3 there, so a couple of T3 mexes from Zero. Spectres in for Aleg, working on those. I'm surprised Blodir is not sending a detachment of ASFs to pick those off. Megalith not going to waste time on the last couple of assault bots. Instead is going to turn and pressure Team 1's front line. Another Ethota now online there for Depony. 32 minutes gone in this one, and Blodir and Aleg once again breaking the 300 mark in terms of generated eco. And what's interesting is Aleg on 349, Blodir on 312. So Aleg getting re-established here very quickly indeed, and Blodir actually behind. And we do see another nuke launcher online, and look at all the build capacity working on getting that done. Now, are we seeing another one down here from Aleg? We've already got one. Goodness me, so these guys going straight back from nukes at the first opportunity. Heaven, having just spotted Blodir's, announces it in allied chat there. But Aleg actually ahead. Doesn't have any assistance on it though. And once again, do we have any TMD in this base? Well, quite frankly, I'm not sure we do. Certainly don't see it at the moment. So it's going to be another race for the nuke. At the moment, Aleg is ahead, but again, not being assisted by any build capacity. So it's all going to come down to who's got spare mass and what's getting built. Well, Aleg has a ton of mass. Look at that. Almost a full bar of stored mass at 25,000 sitting in the back. Well, 23,000 there sitting ready to be used. So that is going to be building at full speed. Conversely, despite all of the assistance, that is not going to be being built as fast up here for Blodir, who has no mass storage or banked mass, sorry, to draw on. Epic Control K across the board, all those redundant T1 factories that have been scattered about the place. But if Blodir takes another nuke, things are not going to look good for Team 1. That will be an overwhelming advantage in the air game to Team 2. Aleg will be able to hold on to his nuke launcher and, of course, work on gaining air superiority. And once that's gone, well, all sorts of opportunities are presented, and that nuke is very nearly done. And it's all going to come down to where he places it and whether or not he's sensible. Stranger things have happened. You'd be amazed what people decide to do. Strange decisions like going to nuke the weakest player or something like this over here. But we shall wait and see. That must be nearly done. There it is. Detected. Missile emerging from that Aeon tube there. And the ping up here at the top. And goodness gracious me, where is Blodir's comm? Well, again, evacing the main base. And this is going to be a huge boost to Team 2. Still won't pick off one of their opponents, but look at that. And it wasn't far off getting the nuke either. Oh no, all of the power, all of everything. It's so disheartening. You just get back on your feet. Oh, that's awful. Just awful for Team 1. 35 minutes gone, and suddenly tables are turning somewhat. Fat Boy under construction in the middle, meanwhile there from Adama. Vexy, very little going on in his base at the moment, has struggled to get back on his feet. Monkey Lord Laser still stuck on there. Operator having some problems. They have very sticky keyboards, you see, the Cybran. It's due to their browsing habits. Meanwhile up here though, nice little push from Gem and Zero. 2 megaliths up front, a Monkey Lord in tow, and a bunch of bricks to support. But look at the amount of Ravagers. Deponi comes out with that Ethota, no doubt wanting to get it to suicide down here to utilize that Ion Storm as well. And it is gonna succumb to firepower close enough and far enough away from friendly units as well. But in come the Restorers from Blodir. He sees them retreating though, and that is going to be enough from him to back up out of it as well. But that Megalith taking a lot of Ravager fire. Down to 2,000 hit points. 1,000. I can't believe. Nope, another round in the backside. Picks up a couple of units. And still it remains. Well, it won't be much use for another 10 minutes or so or longer. Probably worth Control K-ing that one in friendly territory and just rebuilding it. Getting the mass back. Horde of Spectres at the back there for Aleg. And a Scathis on the way in the center. A couple of support commanders going to be working on that. Upgrade going on one of them there for Gem. We do have a Fat Boy online there for Heaven, and he's managed to destroy the shield coverage and a couple of the flayers on the front line there as well to that forward outpost belonging to Adama. But it looks like he's making his way back over. You can see that Megalith Control Cave right on the doorstep there. Engineers going to reclaim that. Sensible decision. Nice to see those ones being made. But Heaven bringing that Fat Boy back to protect his base, which is now under counter Fat Boy fire from Adama, just the other side of the cliff edge. That fire stops just as that T2 shield gen is taken out of the game. And now the two Fat Boys fire on one another, and this should be a pretty even exchange. But actually the shield collapses very much quicker there on Heaven. So, not sure what was going on there. It's going to be real close. Heaven's going to go down first. The question is, would he have fired enough to kill Adama's Fat Boy? Oh my god, 1,500 hit points remain. Are you kidding me? Adama will be happy about that. Well, if he can keep it over here, he can continue to pressure. Of course, needs to be concerned about the Megalith coming his way from Gem. The amount of Southerner's fire Deponi's got up front. Quite ridiculous. I've got another Ethota under construction at the back here. Interesting, no presets being built on these support commanders from Deponi, so he's going for just the cheapest. Get as many out as possible. GC online there for, well, it was for Bloodיר, but that's been transferred over to Deponi. Do feel like there's potential for a push down on this side. Zero looking a little bit vulnerable. Has that one Monkey Lord, although will be close to finishing that Megalith soon, so might have spoken too soon on that one. How long we've got on that next nuke? Well, it's about 50% done so far. Aleg now having used up that mass store. Now let's just take a look at the air powers in the game. So 145 ASFs now for Aleg compared to 127. So potentially a very large engagement on the horizon between the two air players. Bloodיר will be desperate to avoid that for as long as possible, although it does have a pretty sizable force of restorers, and they add a tremendous amount of air-to-air firepower, of course. But look at this. 3 experimentals on the march now from Deponi. Nathana's in tow as well, so they've got a little bit of shield coverage from the lower profile units. But Gem does have 2 Megaliths online. Zero completes another, and a Monkey Lord as well, and they will have the ranged advantage, not to mention if they can pick off the Ethotas as well. The rest of those units then have to walk through that Iron Storm, of course. See target prioritization on the weaker Ethota. Get it out of commission quickly and try and turn the tables on the push. Down goes the first one. GC locks onto the central megalith, and the other Ithota getting embroiled into a little bit of an engagement there with the Monkey Lord. The Monkey Lord will go down first, I suspect, although the Ithota is also taking megalith fire as well. The GC dies off, still 37,000 hit points on that central megalith, and amazingly, by getting in behind the Ithota, the Monkey Lord stays online, but is now facing a barrage of fire from those Othams and doesn't make it through. And now Zero could be about to face another run-by, this time from T3 siege tanks. And could this be the air engagement we were looking for? Well, initial pass goes well for Blodir, and Alex says, nah, I don't like that, and runs away. Blodir not going to risk getting drawn any of that wall of flak down in the center for Gem. Have a look at what happened in that. Well, I think that went really well actually for Blodir. So down to 88 ASFs for Aleg, and Blodir on 113, of course, with those restorers still intact. Meanwhile, over here, more pressure from another Fat Boy. More clink hammers under construction down here. Not ideal, I've got to say. Probably want to be funneling more mass into some Fat Boys of your own. But that Scathis now online and firing at Deponi, who has a lot of support commanders over here and is evacing that area. T3 P-Gen wreck up at the back there, and immediately transfers all of his stuff over to Blodir. And no talk about it. They must be on comms chatting about it. But literally, all he's got now is support commanders. I don't know whether that means he has to leave the game or whatever. But they're support commanders with TAC missiles loading on board. You can see down there in the bottom left-hand corner, 1 of 1. So he's got the TAC missile upgrade. So that's what he's been doing back there. And these ones have the TAC missile upgrade as well. But certainly that huge income boost to Blodir will give him a massive leg up in this one, and he's gone well into the lead after passing that over. 618 compared to the 390 of Aleg, and he's already got the advantage in the skies after that last engagement as well. Still seeing exchanges of fire down here. What, are they building something down here? We've got a perimeter monitoring station going up from Vexy. Maybe he's trying to get a TAC missile snipe on an ACU, or trying to go after the Scathis. Remember, of course, the TAC missiles on commanders and support commanders fly a lot higher, and they've got extra splash damage, but there it is. So that is a massive communal launch. They almost look like they're going to different targets, but I think that was just the way they're spaced. They're heading over towards Zero. And Zero, with little or no TMD at all, wants to be moving his commander, but I'd be amazed if he's prepared for this one, because I sure as hell wouldn't be. Down goes one shield gen, down goes another, and what a beautiful snipe at 42.5 minutes. And Zero doesn't even know what happened. What the hell shot me? Down he goes. What a lovely little TAC snipe. And of course, he's going to have more missiles in those almost immediately. They're coming around as we speak, but a massive wave of strap bombers heading off map at the back now. Blodir running screen with his AFFs down here. He's bringing his restorers in at the front to harass Heaven. Strap bombers still in a holding pattern over here. Now, what have we got? Well, Heaven's ACU's over here. We've got Aleg in the center and a Novak center, just being irritating over the top there from Adama. That Scath is still online now, going after, well, no one in particular, just kind of random units in the grassland in the middle. But it's going to go after Gem. ACU caught out at the back. Now the satellite won't get it, but the strap bombers sure as hell. Oh, they will get the strap bombers don't manage to finish him off. He survives with 350 hit points. But now, with a satellite bugging him, 200 DPS dished out by the Novaks, he's not going to be able to escape it, and that is probably the only time I've ever witnessed a Novak satellite kill an ACU. How very depressing indeed. We're seeing some strap bombers cross the map there, but it's no good. It's all over. Aleg goes up as well. Not sure if that was a Control K or... Zero still doesn't know what happened, asking if Vexy... Vexy doesn't know what happened either, so he's clearly not on comms, or maybe that's a joke. Gem has died to a satellite 2 games in a row. Well, there you go, so it does happen. Obviously, more often than not to him, which is unfortunate. Heaven out here at the back, facing another wave of strats and some restorers now, and this will clear the game up. So Team 2 just dying out of nowhere, really. One bad air engagement handed superiority back over to Blodir. The restorer firepower, of course, adding to the mix, causing extra problems. Sublime snipe there from Deponi, who then, of course, gave everything over to Blodir, giving him an immense amount of eco to spam up the air power, and that was it. Game over. Having seen Team 2 in a relatively good position, we just shows you never know what's going to happen in a game of SOPCOM. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, guys. As always, more to come from me in the future, but in the meantime, stay well and stay safe. This is Guile, signing out.